It's Archie Saber for International Boxing News. In a bit of a different scene last time, we did make you stand up, but how you been, Johnny Fisher?
I'm good, thanks mate. How are you? All good?
All the better for interviewing you, just like last time, but obviously you did have your performance on October 29th in London on the undercard of Katie Taylor. Just sum up your performance for me.
Yeah, I was happy with the performance. Dominic Musil, gone a few rounds with some other good guys coming through, and winning record, someone with good amateur experience, and I really thought in my head it's going to take me 4, 5, even 6 rounds to get him out of there, but I gave him a bit of taste of the power and he didn't like it, so once they feel the power I feel like I've got to get in there and get it done.
Do you know what, I think a lot of people actually looked at your performance similar to David Adelaide.
Yeah.
Obviously it took him 4 or 5 rounds to actually get him out of there.
Yeah.
Do you look at it as a sort of comparison?
No, I don't look at it in that way because every fight is different. Every fighter turns up differently on the day, and the way David done it, I can look at what he done and then take things away from that. I've got the benefit of hindsight of watching him, so I don't say that mine's a better performance or a worse performance. It's my performance, and David's got his performance, and yeah, it's good that I can watch someone who's done that, and then I can take away and think what I can do. And yeah, I'm just happy to have got the win. That's the most important thing. I'm not in the business of comparing myself to others. I've just got to focus on what I've got to do, because I've got a very long way to go and a lot to improve on.
Although it seems like, obviously because you knocked him out in the first round, you were a lot more patient than any other fights. Is that something you do working on the gym?
Yeah, my jab was good it's improved even for Sheffield. I thought it improved then, and this one I thought it improved more because I was landing it at will. I caught it, I know it was only 2 minutes long, but 4 or 5 jabs, a double jab, just landing on his chin every single time. So it's good, and it's a round 1 victory. You get people watching who say, oh, he's knocked him out in the first round, he needs a better test, and if I don't knock him out in the first round and I'll take 6 rounds to get him out of there, then I'm no good. So you can never win. So all I've got to do is focus on my development and keep getting them knockouts.
And your development as well is, when will you next be out? Obviously there was talks afterwards that you're going to fight on November 26th with Dillian White, Jermaine Franklin undercard, and then I saw Shane Watson the other day said on his Instagram that you'll be out in Leeds on December 10th on the undercard of Josh Warrington. Can you give us any news when you'll next be out?
I would have loved to have been out on the 10th of December in Leeds. I think that would have been perfect, but it's not to be. I think the card's full, so I'm going to have a nice relax now. Switching off a little bit, still training, but it's important to have a mental rest from the stress of having to fight, because it's a mental stress. You don't feel it per se up front, but in the back of your mind it's a little stress, so it's good to take your mind off that, and then you build it up again February, March time. So in no rush, I'm going to have a nice fight, hopefully February, March next year.
Is it those constant step ups that you do want? Obviously, although like you said Musil, he was a step up, but I feel like there's more pressure on you now because you're just blasting them out in the first round.
Yeah.
Is there an element where you do want to step back and go at that level, or do you want now to have more tests where you can get more rounds?
I think guys like Musil and a little bit tougher than him, that sort of level of guys is perfect for now. Still in 6 rounders, probably have another 6 rounder, then move on to 8 rounders. And if I start worrying about what other people think in terms of if I'm knocking someone out in the first round or I'm taking too long, then you get lost. You just got to focus on what you've got to do. Listen to my trainer, listen to my managers, and we've got to develop at the pace we want to develop at. You can't let outside influences get involved, because that's when the ship will start to sink.
That's perfect. Obviously, it feels like you can't actually win sometimes, because
no, you can't.
The performance at Alexandra Palace, you won on points against a very tough, pretty sure he was Spanish heavyweight champion, and then this time you're knocking him out in 1 round, and it's sort of like people just criticise no matter what.
Yeah, whatever you do, you're going to get criticism, but that's human nature. Whatever you do, someone's going to have something to say. And I'm in a public position, so I've got to be willing to take that, because whatever I do is going to be criticised. Luckily, I get a lot of people who support me, and that's brilliant. But you get people who are negative as well, but that's part of being a professional boxer. That's why I get paid, that's why I do what I do. I love boxing, and part of it is you get people criticising, and that's part of human nature.
I know you said obviously criticising, you sell just enormous amount of tickets. I think it was 2,000
tickets, yeah, around 2,000.
That's insane, obviously, for someone who's only had a certain number of fights to sell that amount of tickets. I know we touched on it briefly in our last interview, but is there any pressure? Is there an element of pressure there?
Yeah, of course. When you fight in front of a crowd that big, especially the first time I've done it and the second time I've done it at Ali Pally, I'm still getting used to it. But I think the last 2 fights have started to turn a corner, get a little bit more used to it. The legs aren't as shaky. It's not as much of a shock when you walk out, because you're expecting it now. So that's a good thing. That's all part of the experience that you're building.
That's the last of my questions, but obviously, hopefully we can see you out February, March time.
Definitely.
Thank you for that, Johnny Fisher.
Thanks a lot,
International Boxing News.
BOSH.
Appreciate
Cheers,
that, mate.
Thank you.
Absolute legend.
Cheers, mate. Right,
It's
time to smash some lads.